Sandy Shores is a quiet town. To the LS city folk, it's nothing more than a few broken down shacks in the desert. To the locals, it's worse. But perhaps the biggest cow pie on all the reputation of Sandy Shores is the legend of the Infinity Murders. If you're familiar with GTA Easter eggs, you may have heard about this one before, but I can almost guarantee you haven't heard the whole story. Out of all the YouTube videos I watched while researching this topic, I haven't seen one who actually uncovered how deep this rabbit hole goes. We'll start with the surface level, the story as it's been told so far. Abandoned near the base of Mount Chiliad, at this location on the map lie the remains of a scorched house. Painted on the wall, perhaps in blood, there will be 8. Above it, a strange symbol of some kind. Remember this. On the east-facing wall, another message. Go away, Merle Abrahams, you're a wrong'un. Surrounded by 8s. How curious. Also found in the house are jars containing what appear to be assorted body parts, hanging running shoes, tally marks, the message 8 is just infinity stood up, and a couple blocks down the road, a newspaper clipping that reads as follows. Merle Abrahams, the suspected Infinity Killer, passed away last night in Bolingbrook Penitentiary while awaiting trial for abduction and torture. Abrahams, 57, was suspected to be responsible for the Infinity Murders, a series of disappearances that happened 5 years ago. Police believed the 8 victims, who were all single young men killed while jogging, were all murdered by the same person and had circumstantial evidence linking Mr. Abrahams to the victims. No bodies were ever found, and Mr. Abrahams never confessed, although he did admit to a weird obsession with the number 8. Just a few blocks away, written in a familiar script on a rock, a nursery rhyme is found. 1 is done, 2 was fun, 3 tried to run, 4 called mom, 5's not alive, 6 is nix, 7's in heaven, 8 won't wait. A bit further south, on another rock, they want me they can have, but they'll never get my people, even though I shall leave them sign enough where they put me. This cryptic message suggests that the bodies will never be found, despite the killer planning to leave a clue at the prison to which he will inevitably be taken. And of course, he didn't fail to deliver. Inside Bolingbrook Penitentiary, scrawled on the wall, reads, "Where water meets land and fire once spewed forth, there the infinite 8 shall stay until I return." And again, that strange symbol is drawn. Hold on, pause. Zoom in on that peninsula at the very north of the map. Now, overlay the mystery symbol. Yep, we got him. Sure enough, upon closer inspection, all 8 of the missing bodies can be found in the water around this area, wrapped in plastic and lying undisturbed and, presumably, undiscovered on the seafloor. All of the information that I just discussed was discovered very quickly, as evidenced by this thread by GTA Forums user and Evil Vat that lays it all out. This was posted just 10 days after the game released in 2013, and for a while, that's where people thought it ended. I don't know how to transition into this bit, so I'm just gonna... Eddie Lowe is a rather minor character in GTA 4, only appearing in a couple random encounters. In the first encounter, Nico finds Eddie in a shady alley where he asks Nico for a ride to the docks to drop off his friend.
Hey there, pal. Hey.
They talk for a while until the conversation takes a weird turn.
So maybe it's the masturbating. Maybe that's God's real gift to us.
Okay, I'd really like to get back to planet Earth, so maybe I'll see you later.
No, wait, I have this rather heavy bag, and I really need a lift. I can pay you.
Okay.
Thanks. I'm Eddie, by the way. Eddie Lowe.
Yes, fine. Come on.
You mind taking us down to the docks?
You going somewhere?
I'm not going anywhere. My friends are, though. They're heading off.
After the encounter, this broadcast can be heard from the in-game news station, Weasel News.
Weasel News.
Liberty City remains under siege as another body was found, this time at the Liberty Ferry Terminal in Alderney City. A decapitated jogger who was getting fit in the wrong place at the wrong time. Detective John Atkinson has been working the case.
Oh, thank God he did it again. I was beginning to lose my media profile. We'll be making an arrest soon. How's my hair look?
This might be a good time to mention that Eddie is, canonically, a serial killer. The GTA wiki goes into great detail about his childhood trauma and subsequent atrocities, but I'll skip it here. All that you need to know is that he's basically every serial killer stereotype rolled up into one. In the second encounter, after making a number of disturbing comments toward Nico,
Do you like to get spanked? Like that?
Excuse me?
Eddie is told that,
You should get laid or something.
to which he responds,
Oh, I just did. A little jogger down by the water. But you know what, handsome? I got a hunger tonight that can't be sated. Come here!
Nico ends up killing Eddie in self-defense. Now you may be thinking, so he's a serial killer. What does this have to do with the Infinity murders way down in San Andreas? And that's a fair question. Eddie is far from the first serial killer in the GTA canon, and besides, throwing bodies into water isn't exactly a unique calling card. But remember, that letter back in Sandy Shores said that Merle killed joggers. So does Eddie Lowe.
A decapitated jogger who was getting fit in the wrong place at the wrong time.
A little jogger down by the water.
You know how I said Eddie wasn't the first serial killer in GTA canon? I wasn't lying. That tradition goes all the way back to the Old West. During a mission, Arthur investigates a serial killer known for, you guessed it, decapitating his victims. And if that isn't enough, way back in Red Dead Redemption 1, you can find this scrawled on a rock in Prima Quebrada. I don't understand infinity. Typos aside, it looks like we've found yet another individual who is obsessed with writing on rocks about infinity. And you know what? The handwriting looks pretty damn similar to the Infinity Killer in GTA 5. But the piece of evidence that finally solidified the connection between him, Eddie, and the Infinity Killer as canon for me was this newspaper clipping from Red Dead 2, which states that Edmund killed the Blackwater athletics team while they were on a run. It turns out, their bodies can actually be found in-game. He hated runners, just like Eddie, just like the Infinity Killer. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention. In the GTA timeline, we have Eddie Lowe, right? Well, the killer in Red Dead is named
Edmund Lowry Jr.
As a warning, from this point, there's some heavy speculation on my part. There are lots of theories floating around that conflict with this one, some of which are linked in the description, but I think this is the strongest explanation. So, based on all the evidence I've just presented, here's my best timeline of events. The Lowrys, later simplified to the Lowes, are a family with a multi-generational tradition of serial murdering those who dare to jog, among many others. The tradition goes back to at least the year 1899, when Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place. Then, 3 or 4 generations later in 1999, Eddie Lowe shocks the town of Sandy Shores by committing the Infinity murders, but he doesn't do it alone. He either threatens or coerces Merle Abrahams into being the fall guy. How does he do this? Well, I have a theory. In the second encounter with Eddie Lowe in GTA 4, Eddie is going on a rant, speaking in the third person and directly addressing the parents of his various victims.
Well, Mrs. Smith, Eddie's taken your star son, your prized little quarterback, and fucked him in the ass, and then tied him up, strangled him into knots. And your daughter? Your pretty little daughter, Mrs. Abrahams? Eddie's ripped out her intestines just to see if he could feel anything. And you know what? He couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't.
At one point, he mentions a surname we've heard before.
Your pretty little daughter, Mrs. Abrahams?
Perhaps this Miss Abrahams is actually the wife of Merle Abrahams, and Eddie Lowe was just using their daughter's life as a bargaining chip to secure someone to frame for the murders. Kind of a you take the fall or your daughter gets it type of deal. This would explain how the handwriting on the notes remains consistent inside the prison, even though Eddie Lowe was never locked up and likely wouldn't have had access inside the prison. Merle was just the one writing them the whole time. It's possible that Merle was also the one carrying out the murders, although there's no real evidence for this, and besides, Eddie's only real character trait is that he enjoys violence. Why would he pass up an opportunity for a bit of refreshing slaughter? Anyway, Merle Abrahams is locked up for crimes orchestrated by Eddie Lowe, and as the 2004 newspaper clipping states, dies in prison. Despite all Merle's sacrifice to save his daughter, Eddie gruesomely kills her anyway. Why? In his own words, just to see if he could feel something. Sometime between 1999 and 2008, when GTA 4 takes place, Eddie moves to Liberty City, where he commits a total of 10 more murders before he's killed by Nico in a knife fight. The end. Now that I've wrapped this story up neatly in a little bow, I have to tell you something. There's something I've been hiding. A piece of evidence that keeps me up at night. When the community discovered those bodies scattered around Paleto Bay, they thought it was solved. The bodies for the Infinity murders had been cast off into the sea and forgotten. Case closed. But in April of 2015, GTA 5 was released for the PC. With the game's inner workings now being much more accessible, mod menus were quickly developed and Easter egg hunters wasted no time poking around Paleto Bay for clues that had been missed. As it turns out, they struck gold. There are 2 different models used between all 8 of the underwater bodies. Somehow, these modders figured out that if you spawn in a piece of glass, the wrap covering the bodies doesn't render through it. And written on the bodies, in that same red handwriting, the number 8. So that's confirmation that these bodies are related to the Infinity murders, and Rockstar knew that people are still curious enough to look. But hold on. The Infinity Killer targeted 8 male joggers, and as you can tell by the black bars I had to add, these are definitely not males. So that, throws a wrench into things. Just to get it out of the way, there's always the possibility that this was an oversight by Rockstar, or they're just trying to fuck with us by throwing in a red herring. But we're gonna operate under the assumption that this was an intentional clue. That leaves us with the possibility that Eddie Lowe simply killed more than the main 8 he kept yapping about. Perhaps he stuck around for a while after Abrahams was locked up and kept on killing right there in Sandy Shores, and this is a totally separate set of victims. But that doesn't feel complete to me from a narrative perspective. There's a whole mystery leading up to you finding these 8 bodies, only for you to find a totally separate set of 8 bodies unrelated to the murder you've been investigating. There has to be something bigger going on. GTA's most famous puzzle is known as the Chiliad Mystery, and it centers around a mural found at the peak of Mount Chiliad. The lore goes incredibly deep, and it involves UFOs, cultists, time travel, government conspiracies, Bigfoot, and other tantalizing elements. I couldn't possibly summarize the Chiliad mystery in this video, it's way too complex, but I can recommend a great analysis by SourceBrew, which should be popping up in the top right of the video if you want to go down the rabbit hole. For now, just know that the Chiliad mystery is a supernatural government conspiracy that the Easter egg hunting community has been chipping away at for nearly a decade. But what does this have to do with the Infinite 8? Well, the case has been made that the Infinite 8 mystery is connected to the mural on Chiliad. Posts like this present some interesting theories, but the more compelling evidence is what they do not want you to know. .com. WhatTheyDoNotWantYouToKnow.com is a website that you can access using a computer in GTA 4. It's only accessible after the story is complete, and it contains cheat sheet maps for some of the collectible missions throughout the game. One of the maps is posted by, you guessed it, Eddie Lowe. It's titled Fun with Friends, and the description indicates that this is where Eddie marks the location of every time he has found people enjoying themselves together. Don't ask me what he meant by that. I don't know. I don't fucking want to know. Anyway, I visited some of these locations, but I wasn't able to find anything out of the ordinary. Nothing written in blood, no obvious instances of the number 8. I'm honestly not sure what you're supposed to find at these markers, so let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. But here's where it connects to the Chiliad mystery. As far as I can tell, what they do not want you to know.com doesn't come up in search results on the in-game browser I find. To access it, you have to either type the link in directly or wait until you've completed the story, at which point you'll receive an email from a mysterious stranger with a link to the site. That mysterious stranger's username? Chiliad8888. If you're still not convinced, I have one final piece of evidence that the Infinite 8 mystery goes deeper than it appears. This is what's known as the Doomsday Mural, the single image around which a significant amount of the Chiliad mystery discourse has revolved for the last few years. Yeah, so they have two different mystery murals that they're obsessed with. It gets very confusing. During the finale of the Doomsday DLC, the player visits a secret launch facility inside of Mount Chiliad, where these murals can be seen bordering these balconies. Once the community got a hold of the texture, they began looking for the meanings of all these little symbols that make up the different sections of the wall. What they discovered is that each of these colors represent a different facet of the mysteries that have been investigated over the years by the community. The green section refers to the Bigfoot peyote Easter egg, which took the community years to solve due to the insane conditions that need to be met in order to trigger it, along with needing to be in a certain spot, in the early morning, on a foggy day, with a 100% game save. You also must have previously collected all 27 peyote plants hidden around the map. Then and only then can you collect the final golden peyote and play as Bigfoot, navigating your way toward a final boss fight with a monster known as the Beast. As far as I know, this is the last mission in the entire game. Now back to the mural. Remember how I said you have to collect 27 peyote plants? The number 27 is prominently featured here on the mural, just above the diagram of a man evolving into Bigfoot. You can see why the Easter egg hunting community was so excited. Finally, their patience with these convoluted Easter eggs was being acknowledged. But the green section is the only part of the mural whose corresponding mystery has already been solved. The rest are very much ongoing investigations. The purple section, for instance, contains a reference to the logo of in-game psychologist Dr. Friedlander, who many believe is involved in a whole other can of worms known as the Karma Mystery. The yellow section is pretty clearly about the Chiliad mystery, as evidenced by the muralception going on here, which illustrates that very same cryptic diagram which has been at the center of the Chiliad mystery since the beginning. Again, unsolved. And finally, we turn our attention to the red mural, which contains, large and unmistakably, infinity. I'm honestly not sure what to make of all this information. It's been over 5 years since the Doomsday DLC was released, and the green section still remains the only section of the mural to actually have been solved to any satisfying degree. Do these individual mysteries actually share connective tissue, or is Rockstar just trolling everybody and stoking the fire by echoing the community's own delusions back at it? I don't know. One thing's for sure though, the Infinite 8 story is far more than just a self-contained murder mystery. That's why I'm relying on you to go out and do some research of your own. Investigate those marked locations in GTA 4. Scrounge the wikis and the subreddits for anything I may have missed. Or you could just go outside. Shut up.